What up, Naughty Steppers? It's Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the forthcoming EP from London Nebel, released on Crow's Nest Audio, Crowls. Crowls or Crowls? I wasn't sure whether to go with the owls or the crows here. So if my pronunciation of that is wrong, then do let me know. Berlin-based duo London Nebel are back with their debut multi-track collection for Code Pandorum's Crow's Nest Audio label. The pair having produced for other heavyweight imprints in the past, from Never Say Die's Black label to Disciple, Firepower, Smog, etc., but who are now a core part of the Crow's Nest family almost a decade into their production as a pairing. A decade that has seen them produce with other underground dubstep stalwarts such as Graphite, Pogman, Dak Daniels and more. Crowls is a quick follow-up to their two-part EP released on Next Level Dubstep just a couple of weeks ago, with 5 tracks here, including a remix to close from Code Pandorum himself. Let's go. And the first thing that I want to mention here is that across London Nebel's 4 tracks, this EP is a very well managed one. For the most part here, I think there's a clear understanding of rhythm, control, and positioning of sounds, enabling them to create particular scenes in their introductions and different types of energy in their drops. An attention to timing and care in crafting that I wouldn't say you see enough of in the Riddim genre, and is very present here. However, that's not to say that all of the ideas enthrall across the 17-minute runtime. Tracks 2 and 4, the title track and Death Call with 10 graphs respectively, have a really genuine purpose to their dubstep, but don't necessarily take you off your seat. The former, Crowls, has a really nice dynamic between the sounds on show and is very well assembled and put together, but just doesn't have quite enough to wow me, even with the little developments in the second drop. A track that I feel could do with a bit more grunginess to propel it forward even further. Whilst in Death Call, I enjoy the musical direction to the dubstep here, again got that purpose and urgency to it, but once more, just not enough going on here for me. Similarly, it does change for its second drop. Jumpy alterations that give it even more of a drive and presence, but ideas wise it's not something to take you aback. The problem I'd say with the third track, My Side, is that it needs that presence and sense of body that its predecessor has. This seemingly dub loads inspired track has a very sharp clarity to all of its sounds. The flavour of the dubstep is really evident. However, I think it goes off in too many directions musically, and having a bit more consistency on that front would have made it much more impactful. The CC Maya remix of Infect's Monochrome Raptor, one of my favourites of last year, is my reference point in terms of what I mean here. Again, very well put together, changes for the second drop, but just not enough to really move you. I've outlined my issues with those middle 3 tracks, however, generally I think they are pretty solid. Riddim isn't usually there to impress you ideas-wise, and in terms of doing what they're meant to do, I think those tunes do a decent job. The problem perhaps is that they all come after the fantastic opener Signed, which really does set a high standard for the rest of the EP. The dubstep here is riveting, jagged, stop-start in design, with sounds shooting at you from all directions. They get the momentum absolutely spot on, know exactly when to switch things up slightly. Every sound has its own space and is really well posited, with moments of real flow and rhythm amidst the more stuttered delivery. Quite simple but so effective. I also love the gloomy, eerie opening here, the way it builds steadily without ever getting out of hand. Very well managed. And on that note, I think those are both things that you could say for every one of London Nebel's tracks on this EP. The transitioning in their intros is very smoothly executed, often blending seamlessly into the builds, with the drops creeping in the distance, with My Side perhaps being the exception, although I do still really enjoy the intro and rapid build there. A very playful and to the point combination of elements, and welcomed at the midway point in the EP as a difference from the other 3. Beyond that, there are some other nice moments across the first 4 tracks to give the Crowls project some star appeal. The glowing notes in the intro to the title track are great, the repetition of the lead hook in My Side works really well, and the wealth of really neat and tidy samples in Deathcore with 10 graphs are what undoubtedly make that track for me. Also, can't go without mentioning the closer, of course, that being Code Pandorum's remix of the title track, which is out Thursday, the sole DEATHSTEP number on the EP. Because would it really be a Crow's Nest release without at least one DEATHSTEP song on it? And what stands out to me most with this track is the sheer minimalism of the drops, considering how full and packed DEATHSTEP usually is. The second drop is also markedly different from the first, which creates a nice sense of contrast and progression in the track as well. Can't say I'm a massive fan of the double drops both times around, find them a bit incessant and ill-fitting in the context of the track. But overall, it's an interesting take on the original DEATHSTEP with quite a bare, minimal approach, something I haven't heard too much of before. And overall, with this EP, I'd say that if you are someone who outright loves Riddim music, then you really will enjoy this project. For someone like myself who likes Riddim but not immensely, Crowls is an EP with an array of very good moments. One that at points is a little too straightforward with not enough going on for substantial parts. However, I feel the general energy, purpose and definition of sound more than carries it through from start to finish. It can be hard to make sounds as heavy as these so clear and refined, but the duo do that very well here. I also like how it does certain things repeatedly well, the transitioning in the intros, the drops creeping up on the listener, and honestly, at the base level of appreciation, I find this EP to be a very solid one with a full and flavoursome approach to Riddim music. A project I could see myself returning to on multiple occasions this year to listen from beginning to end, something I couldn't say for 9 out of 10 other Riddim EPs out there, to be honest. And if Riddim is your bag, then I would definitely check this thing out when it drops on Friday. You will not be disappointed. Now, in terms of my favourite from the Crowls EP, then I think I would have to go with the opener, Signed. This is just a straight up brilliant track. All the sounds come together so well here, unique approach to production, one of my favourites of this year so far for sure. And in terms of recommendations, if you are to enjoy this EP when it comes out on Friday, I mentioned it earlier, but this EP is all about cleanly executed Riddim, and my favourite of that kind is the CC Maya remix of Monochrome Raptor by Infect, which came out last year. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. And speaking of Infect, then I would also check out his Activated EP from last year too. And so that is that, guys, for another review on the Nawtystep channel, this time of the forthcoming EP from London Nebel, released on Crow's Nest Audio, Crowls. Thank you very much, and as always, for tuning in. Are you guys excited to hear the debut Crow's Nest EP from London Nebel in full? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way. Nawtystep is all about coverage of bass music across a wide variety of genres, from EP and album reviews to top 5s and top 10s, rave footage, opinion pieces and more. So again, if that's something that interests you, then consider subscribing. For some other DEATHSTEP related videos on the channel, check out the link next to my head somewhere. If you're not following Nawtystep across social media yet, links to all of those are in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know, guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.